This morning, a message from Moscow. Wave after wave of airstrikes on Ukrainian cities, killing 24 in one day this weekend, as the Secretary of State heads to Saudi Arabia for talks with Keir. President Trump pressuring Ukraine to agree to a ceasefire.
A lot of people died this week, as you know, in Ukraine. Not only Ukrainians, but Russians. So I think everybody wants to see it get done. We're going to make a lot of progress, I believe, this week.
Trump wants more than a minerals deal, two US officials telling NBC News. He wants a change in President Zelensky's attitude to peace. Ukraine desperate to persuade the Trump administration to resume crucial intelligence sharing. The president asked about comments by Poland's leader that Ukraine wouldn't survive without the intelligence sharing, had this response.
It may not survive anyway.
While the vice president faced protesters outside his Ohio home this weekend while out with his 3-year-old daughter. The president's top ally, Elon Musk, writing on X that if he turned off his Starlink service, Ukraine's entire front line would collapse. Zelenskyy posting his own message. Ukraine has been seeking peace from the very first second of this war. President Zelenskyy will meet with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince today, hoping for mediation. But on the front lines, Russia battling to regain part of its Kursk region, its troops using abandoned gas pipelines to attack. NBC News getting close to the Russian front line last week. The Russian military doesn't appreciate being filmed, but believe me, there are a lot of troops there. This weekend, Russia releasing video of drone strikes on Ukrainian tanks in Kursk as President Trump pushes for peace talks. This is the language of the battlefield. Hey there, good day to you. Well, there will be days of intense diplomacy here in Saudi Arabia. The Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the National Security Advisor, President Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff, all coming here. So too President Zelenskyy to meet with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia as Saudi tries to mediate in this very difficult position for Ukraine. Saudi Arabia, of course, brought together US officials with Russian officials just weeks ago. President Zelenskyy now, though, trying to repair the damage from that disastrous Oval Office meeting, knowing that if the talks here fail, he'll be under more pressure from President Trump. President Trump saying over the weekend that last week there were deaths on both sides, saying that is why there needs to be an end to this war. He was asked about comments from Poland that Ukraine may not survive if America continues to withhold intelligence help. He answered, it may not survive anyway. Many other diplomatic strands taking place as we get into these talks here. It is expected to really get underway tomorrow between US officials and Ukrainian officials, but the fighting continues in Ukraine, and particularly in the region of Kursk, that Russian region still held by the Ukrainians. The Russians dropping bombs from drones and crawling through gas tunnels to try to get to the Ukrainians to fight. Now, trying to take back that territory in Kursk could take the Russians months, raising the question of whether Russia really is ready for a ceasefire. Meanwhile, Ukraine indicating that it would want US support for ceasefire verification. It turns out trying to end this war really isn't easy. Keir Simmons, NBC News, Saudi Arabia.